Hey guys, welcome to this session. Our topic is soil and our subtopic is soil properties. In our past videos, we discussed the physical properties. Then we moved on to the chemical properties. We saw a few of the chemical properties. Uh, by listing them, we said that the chemical properties of soil include such properties as the cation exchange capacity, soil reaction salinity, CN ratio, that is carbon to nitrogen ratio, and soil fertility. In our past videos, we've discussed the cations exchange capacity and the soil reaction. So today, let's move on to the soil salinity. Salinity, by definition, you can just say that soil salinity is the soil content in the soil. So the presence of salt in the soil is what we call the salinity of soil. Now, the process of increasing the soil content within the soil is known as the salinization. So as you can see there, it's a simple illustration of how salinization looks like. So salts occur naturally within soils and the water. Salinization can be caused by various processes such as the natural processes, which include as mineral weathering, or by the gradual withdrawal of an ocean. So it can also come about through artificial processes such as irrigation. So we'll see all these causes of salinization breakdown. But more briefly about salinization, that the saline soils are high in pH and they exchange sodium ions. So the presence of salts makes this saline soil to have high pH and exchangeable sodium ions, which make up the salt. Now the pH is generally higher than 8.5, and the exchangeable sodium occupies more than 15% of CEC, that is the cation's exchange capacity or rate. Now, the high sodium content may affect the growth of various plants like phytoplankton, zooplankton, and also the growth of these fish. Now, these soil generally occur in the arid and semi-arid regions. So, the saline soils are common to arid and semi-arid regions. Now, they are reclaimed by treating the soil with the gypsum, that is sodium sulfate or sulfur. So, you can reclaim or you can treat or reduce the soil salinity by the use of gypsum, that is that is the calcium sulfate or sulfur. Moving on, let's see the causes of soil salinity. Now, the salinity occurs in the soil as the result of various processes. Described below are some of the major causes of the soil salinity. The first one is the natural occurrence. Uh, the natural occurrence here, we talk about how the soil salinity can occur naturally. So the salts are a nature component in the soils and water, that's common. The ions responsible for the salination are these sodium ions, potassium ions, calcium ions, magnesium ions, and the chlorine ions. Now, as the sodium ions they predominate, the soils can become very sodic, hence the term soil salinity. The sodic soils they present particular challenges because they tend to a very poor structure, which limits or prevent the water infiltration and the drainage. So in such, this can affect the growth of various plants in these kinds of soil. Now, over long periods of time, as soil minerals, weather, and the release salts, these salts are fractured or leached out of the soil by drainage water in areas with the sufficient precipitation. So, for a long period of time, the minerals that are just deposited by weathering, they release salts. These salts are the ones that are flushed out of the soil by the drainage water in areas with sufficient precipitation. While in the dry regions with the poor precipitation, salts may occur or may accumulate, leading to the natural saline soils. I hope it's clear. This is the first cause of soil salinity, that is natural occurrence. Moving on, the second one is the dryland salinity. The salinity in drylands can occur when the water table is between 2 and 3 meters from the surface of the soil. Hence, the salts from the groundwater are raised by capillary action, that is the movement of water from low levels to upper levels to the surface of the soil. So as you can see there, it's just how dryland salinity can look like. Now, this occurs when the groundwater is saline, which is true in many areas and is favored by land use practices that are allowing more rainwater to enter the aquifer than it could accumulate. Take an example, the clearing of trees for agriculture is the major reason for dry land salinity in some areas, since the deep rooting of the trees has been replaced by shallow rooting of the annual crops. So hence it leads to this dry land salinity. The third one, the salinity due to irrigation. This is an artificial cause of salinity of soil. The rain or irrigation in the absence of leaching can bring salts to the surface by capillary action, whereby the salinity from the irrigation can occur over time since almost all water, even the natural rainfall, contains some dissolved salts. So when the plants they use the water, the salts are left behind in the soil and eventually they begin to accumulate over the soil. Now, since soil salinity makes it more difficult for plants to absorb water from the soil, now this source may be reached out of the plant is root zone by applying the additional water. So salination from irrigation water is also greatly increased by poor drainage and the use of saline water for irrigation agricultural crops. So that's how salinity due to irrigation may occur. Now, these are just few of the causes of soil salinity. Moving on, let's see the consequences of salinity. The following are some of the consequences of salinity, include as follows. The first one is the detrimental effects on the plant growth and yield. So it can affect the plant growth and yield due to the presence of the soil within this, due to the presence of salt within the soil. The other one is the damage to the infrastructure due to the accumulation of the salts. Infrastructures may include some materials like roads, uh, bricks, collision of pipes and cables. The other consequence is that the reduction of water quality for the users due to the sedimentation problems. These sedimentation problems means that there are occurrence of or the presence of various sediments within the water. And the last one is that the salinity is an important land degradation problem. Soil salinity can be reduced simply by leaching soluble salts out of the soil with excess irrigation water. So there you have it. This is the other chemical property of the soil salinity. I hope it's clear. Now next video we'll move on to the other chemical property of soil. Thank you.